All right, here we go. Text number, chapter 2, text 39. Thus far, I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. O son of Pritha, when you act in such a knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works. First of all, I want you all to get pen and paper because there are going to be too many points that I want you all to remember so that in the next class, you know what we talked about. Okay, so analytical study, or it's also known by the name Sankhya. Sankhya is a Sanskrit word, Sankhya. Sankhya. Sankhya means to distinguish between matter and spirit. Like Krishna till now explained that who are we in terms of Sankhya, that, okay, this body is a matter and this matter is temporary. It just stays for a while and after that it's finished. It's again gets into new form. So that's matter. That matter can be like this body is just a dead body, and the living entity who is within the body is a spirit soul. That's who we are. So that's called analytical study. That okay, we are different from the body, as matter is different, like earth, water, fire, air, ether. They all come into matter. Everything that you see around you is made of these five elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Everything, including this body. And but we are not this matter. We are not earth, water, air, fire, air, ether. We are a spirit soul, a spiritual identity. So that's what Krishna explained till now in form of analytical study, disintegrating between matter and spirit. That okay, spirit can never be cut into pieces. Spirit can never be burned by fire. Spirit can never be, make wet by water. No weapon can cut spirit. But on the other hand, all the other things apply to matter, which means this body. So this is called Sankhya, distinguishing between matter and spirit. Now Krishna is saying, whatever I told you till now about matter and spirit, now I'm going to teach you how to utilize this in your real life, how to have practical application, how to have practical application on the basis of how you are going to perform your duty, how you're going to live this life. So that's what from now on, Krishna is going to talk about that how should we perform our duties? How should we perform our karma? Like studying, like business, like jobs, all those things. What consciousness should be there when we do all these things? Okay, we'll go ahead. Because thing is, whatever we do, whether good or whether bad, that's a karma. Karma is of two types, good and bad karma. Whatever you do in this world, it creates another karma. If you do something good, that's another karma. If you do something bad, that's another karma. And as long as you are performing karmas in the life, as long as you're performing activities, fruitive activities, then you're going to create bondage of work. You're going to be entangled in the karmic cycle. And because of that, then you have to take birth again and again to get results of those karmas. So Krishna is going to explain that how, while doing activities of daily life, we can be free from karma. Okay. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. See, everything we do in this material world, let's say, for example, you made a very big house, you got a very big car, you got a very big family. But at the end, everything is finished. Nothing is left. You got in this world empty hands and you're going empty hands. Nothing is going to stay with you, no matter how big opulences you get or whatever. So Krishna is saying that on this path, but on this path of bhakti, of working in a way that Krishna is going to explain, there is no loss. For example, if you do 10% in this life on this path, then in the next life, you don't have to start from 1%. You're already starting from 10%. If you did 10% bhakti in this life, in the next life, your bhakti will begin from 10%, not from 1%. But on the other hand, all the material activities you do, well, you have to start from zero. You have to take birth, you have to study, you have to, do jobs and get all the requirements. And then you have a family and home and cars and everything. But on spiritual path, it's not like that. For example, you guys for yourself. If you are getting this knowledge right now, it means that you have already did something in the past lives. That's why you got such, that's why you got birth in such a family where you're able to join Hindu school and you're getting the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. It means you have all, and Krishna will explain this in the following verses, that it's not like anyone can read Bhagavad Gita. They must have little, good pious activities in their past lives. Then only someone is able to read this knowledge. So it means all of you have some pious activities in your past lives. And that is the reason you are starting from 20% in this life and, getting this knowledge. So that way, whatever you do in this path, there is no loss. There is no loss, but there is always a gain. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. Now you see, a person who is not in knowledge of the self, who doesn't know that I am a soul, who thinks that, okay, I am a body and this is the only life I have. And I have to work this whole life very hard to get some material opulences, material benefits that I want. The desires that I have, I want to fulfill them. And, I want to fulfill all the desires and enjoy in my life. So that kind of person who doesn't know who he is, who doesn't have the knowledge of the Vedic scriptures, his intelligence, his consciousness will always be like, okay, I want this, I want this, I want this. Okay, I got this. Now I have another demand. I want another thing. So he's always full of desires. His mind is always wandering here and there. I also want this. I also want this. If I got a Challenger today, I want a Range Rover tomorrow. If I have a Range Rover today, I want a Lamborghini tomorrow. If I have a 3-bedroom house, I want a 5-bedroom house tomorrow. He's always wandering for his own desires. He always wants to fulfill his own desires, and desires are never fulfilled. The more you want to fulfill your own desires, the more desires come in more. It's never, desires can never be fulfilled, never. So that's what Krishna is saying, that a material person, remember, from now on, whenever I say a material person and a spiritual person, the difference is a material person whose aim is to enjoy in the life, who wants to be materially opulent. And a spiritual person, on the other hand, is that person who wants to attain the goal of human life, that is to go back home, back to Godhead. So a material person, his intelligence is always used in, different stuffs every time, worrying about different things. But a spiritual person who knows the reality, his mind, his goal is clear. His goal is clear that, okay, my goal is to get free from this cycle of birth and death. I don't want to go to, different species of life again and again. I don't want to be an insect. I don't want to be he has knowledge that, okay, if I misuse this human form, then it is bad for me. So my only aim is to focus on spirituality and go back where I belong, where there is no birth, where there is no birth, where there is no birth, old age, disease, and death. So that's what Krishna is saying here, that a spiritual person, his goal is one, that is to attain me, Krishna, the kingdom of God. But on the other hand, a material person, his goals, well, it's all like a web of desires which are never fulfilled. That's why Krishna says that These kind of persons are more intelligent than others. Men of small knowledge are very much attracted, are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommends various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, result in good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. Now, this is the reality. 99% of the people in today's Kali Yuga, they all are like this. They all are on the material plane. See, Vedas deal with 4 subjects: dharam, arth, kam, and moksha. Dharam means religious activities, or also called as karam kand. Now remember this word. This word is going to come again and again throughout Bhagavad Gita. Karam kand. Karam kand means fruitive activities. For example, there will be so many sadhus, there will be so many pandits who will say that, okay, you did do this kind of puja, you do this kind of sacrifice, you do this kind of charity, and in return, you're going to get this. You do this kind of puja and you will have more money. You do this kind of sacrifice and you will go to heavenly planets. So there is always a personal selfishness behind it. Doing something religious, but it has selfish motive behind it, that I want to gain out of it. Okay, I'm going to donate 10 rupees in a temple, and in return, I want 1,000 rupees from God. Okay, I want to do this kind of sacrifice that is recommended in Vedas, and in return, I'm going to go to heaven. Okay, I'm going to feed poor so that I get more money. All this, which has a selfishness behind it, which has a motive of self-enjoyment behind it, it's called karam kand, or fruitive activities. And Vedas basically deal with this. Why does it happen? Because, Vedas, as I say again and again, it's a vast forest. And if you enter this forest, it's very easy to get lost. Because we humans have a tendency to enjoy. We always want to enjoy, isn't it? We always want to have sensual pleasures. We always want to feel happy. But the thing is, we are a soul. A soul can never be happy if he is looking at happiness with material things. See, nature of soul is spiritual and nature of this world is material. They don't bound together. If we want to enjoy materially, then we will not be able to do it. Yes, temporary pleasures, temporary happiness will be there. But even that temporary happiness brings another sadness. So, men of small intelligence, when they read Vedas, when they read scriptures, and they find these kinds of things, that, okay, by doing this, I'm going to get more money. I'm going to get for example, some people do, to get a good husband, it's a vrat of, I think, Monday, every Monday, it's called Sombar Vrat, something like that. That vrat of Shivji, that I am going to do fast for Lord Shiva, and in return, I want a good husband. There are so many, these small kinds of things in Vedas. But all these things, Krishna says, these people are less intelligent because they don't know what's the real purpose of the Vedas. See, human life is like this. You do some rituals, you get some money, that's called artha. You do some dharmic activities, religious activities, out of which you want artha. Artha means sensual pleasures or money or anything that can give you pleasure. Dharam, arth, kam. Kam means sensual activities where you want to enjoy your senses, where you want to enjoy your, you want a good food, you want to have good marriage life and things like that. But when we do this throughout our life, and as we don't feel enjoyment in our heart, We get bored by this, that, okay, what is life? I'm working throughout my life, and what am I getting? I'm working like a donkey from morning to evening, coming home, living same life throughout, living same routine throughout my life. And what is it I'm getting out of it? Nothing. Yes, temporary pleasures. Yes, temporary happiness. But at the end, everything is finished. So what is the motive? And when we get bored out of it, then in the Vedas comes the moksha part. That, okay, now I have, utilized uh, all the energy that I have, enjoying my senses, but I'm not bored. I want to get free from this. I want moksha. I want mukti. I want liberation. So this is how our human life is. This is how Vedas deal with. First, they deal with dharam, artha, kam, and then moksha. Am I audible? Is the internet connection working? Okay. Okay.
Taking a bit though, like it's like you're breaking in between, like your voice is not coming out constant.
Mhm.
It's bickering a bit.
Okay. See, when we do pious activities, when we do good sacrifices or good karma, the usual thing is to counteract that, to get the benefit of those good karmas, we go heaven. We go to heaven. And similarly, if we do bad karma, we go to hell. Now, going to heaven and going to hell is basically both bad. And I'll explain to you in the following verses. So Krishna will explain that don't do good activities, don't do bad activities as well. He will explain how to do those. 2.44. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. See, enjoying in human life is good. Having big houses, having fulfilling your desires is good. No one says, even Krishna doesn't say that, okay, just become a sannyasi and leave everything. He says, okay, live your life. And but thing is, when we in this life, for example, I become a doctor, and becoming a doctor, I'm getting so much money, and there is no lack of money, there is no lack of enjoyment in the life, and I become attached to it. Attachment is the main problem for anything. If I'm getting so much money, if I'm getting so much pleasures in the life, I become attached to it. And when I become attached to it, I think that, what is the need for moksha? What is the need for spirituality? I am happy in my life. I don't want anything. I have a big car, I have a big house, I have a good wife, I have good job, I have good money. I don't want anything else. That's it. So Krishna says the people who get these good things, these sense enjoyments, these material opulences, they become attached to it. And because they become attached to it, they don't focus on spirituality. And you can see this from around, that most of the families, even in India, even in Canada, and even any part of the world, who are happy in their life, who has a good job, good wife, good house, good cars, good everything, they're not too focused on spirituality, or even they are not focused at all, because they're happy in their life. And Krishna says, okay, they are happy, fine, for because of their good karma in the past lives, they are happy now. But what will happen is they will never be able to get out of cycle of birth and death. You might become happy for now, but that happiness also is going to bring sadness, because you did not do anything that was valuable in the life, that was really valuable in the life, and you kept on enjoying. And because of that, in the next life, you're going to get your bad reactions then. So basically, even if you enjoy in the life to the fully extent, that is also bad, because that way you don't get attracted to spirituality. The more we are attached to enjoy, the more we react that we don't want to join spirituality. We don't want to go to temples. We don't want to read scriptures. We don't want anything, because we're already too much satisfied. And that satisfaction is in turn getting destruction in the life. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. See, there are 10 lakh species of birds, 30 lakh species of animals, 20 lakh species of trees, 9 lakh species of aquatics, 11 lakh species of insects, and 4 lakh species of, of human-like forms. And after going to each and every species, for example, if there are 9 lakh aquatics, there are 9 lakh kind of aquatic species, you get birth in that species first. And it's not like, okay, I become a fish now. In the next lifetime, I'm going to be insect. It's not like that. Well, first you become one kind of fish, then you become second kind of fish, then third kind of fish, then fifth kind of fish, sixth kind, seventh kind, eighth kind. And this way, there are 9 lakh species. So basically living in aquatics for 9 lakh different lifetimes. You go to another species, that is insects. Then from 11 lakh lifetimes in insect species, becoming a bed bug, becoming a butterfly, becoming a different kind of small little insects, spiders and whatnot. For 11 lakh species, then you get to another species like birds, and there is like 20 lakh birds. Then you become 20 lakh birds, then 20 lakh trees. And there are trees that stand for even 1,000 years. There's a tree in Vrindavan which is standing from last 5,000 years. So you can imagine, after going to 80 lakh species of life, 80 lakh different lifetimes, dying every time in different way, sometimes someone crushing us with their feet, someone doing fishing in the lakes, sometimes someone killing in the forest as a hunter. After getting all this, we have got this human form. And now in this human form, Krishna is saying, don't be attached. Don't do the, karam kanda things. Don't work for your sensual pleasures. Don't be attached to them. And become transcendental to the modes of material nature. Become transcendental to the things that Vedas are basically talking about. Because elsewhere in Gita, moving forward, Krishna would tell what is the main purpose of the Vedas. Vedantkrit Vedvid Ivachaham. The purpose of the Vedas is to know me. But the thing is, when we become so much attached to religious activities, when we become so much attached to our sensual pleasures of day-to-day life, we don't want to know what's the main purpose of the life. And Krishna is saying all these dualities, all these anxieties for gain and safety, all this gain, loss, safety, harm, get transcendental to them. And know what is the main purpose of this life. Know what is the main purpose of the Vedas. All purposes served by a small well can once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purpose of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. How many of you has gone to villages? Anyone has any experience? Good, Paranjay. In villages, you see, there are so many small wells. You know what a well is? A kua? Yes. So all these wells are for different purposes. Like with some well, someone get water. From another well, someone uses that water for washing clothes. From another well, someone uses that water for washing animals or for the purpose of drinking water for animals. So they have different wells in the forest, in the villages. But at the same time, if there is a river in the village, do we need all these different kinds of wells? Well, no, because all the purpose of the wells can be served by a river. From the river, you can get water for drinking, for washing clothes, for animals, for different household purposes. So all the purpose of the wells, small wells, can be fulfilled by a big river. So similarly, Krishna is saying that all these purposes of dharam, artha, kama, moksha, all these can be fulfilled by bhakti. You don't have to go and perform different kinds of sacrifices. If you want, even if you want something in life, even if you want a very opulent, a very materialistic life, then also you don't have to go to different sections. And the only thing you got to do is bhakti, because by the river of bhakti, all the purposes of the Vedas of dharam, artha, kam, moksha, everything in life that you want can be fulfilled only with bhakti. So that's what Krishna is stating here, that you don't have to go and do all these things and just become attached to them. Instead of that, come to bhakti, and all your wishes, all your desires will be fulfilled by me. I will fulfill them, and at the same time I will make you eligible for liberation, for coming back to me. So always, instead of going to different sacrifice, instead of doing different kinds of charities, instead of different kinds of pujas and everything else, he's saying, just come to me, that's it. I will take care of it. You have a right to perform your duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. Now, this verse is so much misunderstood by so many people. You see, in India, on behind of trucks, there is a small verse that is written. It's called "Karam hi puja hai." Aapka karam, your activity, your duty is your puja. Well, here it contradicts that. Krishna says that you have a right to prescribe your duty. For example, let me tell you by this example. Let's say there is Tia and there is Dia. Now Tia and Dia, if they are in same class, in same school, and a same teacher is teaching them, but Dia has a mood that I want to be first in class, and her mood to study is that, okay, I want to study so that I can defeat Tia, and I can get the first position in class. But on the other hand, Tia has a mood that I don't want to, get first in class. I don't want to defeat Dia, but all I want is to learn. I just want to grasp what the teacher is teaching. I'm not attached to the result that, okay, by studying this, I'm going to get first in class, or after that, I'm going to get a chocolate from my parents or an award from my class teacher. She doesn't want that. What she wants is to fulfill the purpose for what the thing is done. She doesn't want to become first in class. She doesn't want to come last. She's not attached to it. Whether I come first or whether I come last, I don't care. But I want to grasp the subject. I want to understand what teacher is teaching me. Now tell me this. If Dia comes first in class, she will be happy that, okay, this was my purpose and now I got a first position in class and I'm very happy. But at the same time, if Dia was not able to get the first position in class, what will happen? She will become sad. Yes, Paranjay?
Sorry, I was just stretching.
Okay. So she will become sad. She will be distressed. Her goal will be, totally different now. But at the other point, if Tia, she has studied only for the purpose of learning, only for the purpose that, okay, I want to understand this subject, I want to understand this chapter very carefully. Who is better? The one who has understand the subject. Because the purpose behind studying is not to become first or last, but the purpose is to understand the subject matter. So that's what Krishna is saying here, that you do your duty. Your duty is to study right now as students. You do your duty, but don't think that I want to be first in class or I want to be last in class. But instead of that, don't be attached that, okay, I want first position, last position, but work for the pleasure of working. That, okay, my job is to study. I'm studying. I'm going to study well. I don't care whether I become first or last. My job is to study. That's it. Krishna is saying that the result of the study is not in your hands. It's not you who award yourself. It's me who awards you. The result of the activity is not in your hands. The result of the activity is in the hands of Krishna. Our duty is to do the action, but never consider ourselves as the cause of the action or the cause of the activity. But at the same time also, don't be attached to not doing your duty. That, okay, if I'm not going to get first in class, if I'm not going to get last, if I'm not going to get first position, I'm not going to study. Everyone got this point? Yes or no? Yes. So that's what Krishna is saying, that study with the purpose of understanding the subject matter, not with the purpose to become first in class. Because getting first or last is not in your hands. It's in the hands of the teacher. But if we use this analogy in real life, well, I don't want to be a so much rich guy. I don't want to be a poor guy. I want to be a normal guy. But at the same time, I want to, use this life for the main purpose, that for what it has been given to me. So that's what Krishna is teaching here. Any questions till now? No? Okay. Perform your duty equipoised, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. Now, who wants to tell me what is the meaning of yoga? Yoga, yoga, yoga. Anyone? Yes.
Is there more than one kind of yoga? Because
What?
I know one.
Repeat it.
I
Repeat
don't
it.
know what kind of yoga you're talking about.
Well, the yoga, I'm asking the meaning of yoga. What is the meaning of yoga?
Relaxation?
No, that's the Western meaning of yoga, which is the wrong meaning of yoga.
Getting your body to be like.
No, that's a kind of yoga, but that's not yoga. Yoga means to link. The real meaning of yoga is to link with the Supreme. The yoga that we Westerners follow these days is called Ashtanga yoga. Even not Ashtanga yoga, it's just like, you do some exercise in there, they call it as yoga. But yoga really means is to link with the Supreme. Now see, in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna did not want to fight. Why? Well, because he wanted to enjoy afterwards. He's saying that if I kill all of them, how would I enjoy? My whole family is dead. How would I enjoy the kingdom? Well, he's attached to the result of the action. He's attached that, okay, I have to win this war, or either I just go back and don't enjoy. He's attached. But Krishna is saying, leave this attachment of success or failure, but instead do your duty. Do your duty in equanimity as yoga, because I am telling you to do. As the Supreme Lord, I am telling you to do this. So it is your duty to do it without being attached to success or failure. And Krishna will explain in other chapters that how Arjuna should do his duty. O Dhananjaya, keep all abominable activities far distance by devotional service. And in that consciousness, surrender unto the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their works are misers. See, okay, internet connection. Okay. Only misers. Do you know what is the meaning of miser? Well, miser in Hindi is called kripan. Kripan is a person, miser is a person who wants to enjoy his own work and gets result out of it and gets materially entangled. So basically 99% of people in the world are misers, are kripan. When we want to enjoy this world, when we want to fulfill our desires, as I said earlier, it creates karma. It creates bondage. And because of that bondage, you have to accept different bodies. But Krishna is saying that, okay, no matter what, you have to do your duties. You have to do all the activity. It's not like you can just, leave your families and go to a jungle and don't do anything. But he's saying, while doing your activities, keep all the abominable activities away. And what are the abominable activities? Like meat eating, like drinking alcohol, like so many bad things that are happening in the society today. Krishna is saying, keep all of these things away with devotional service. If you are attached to Krishna, all the good qualities of Krishna will automatically come into you. That's a simple funda. If you are attached to something, whether in this world, if you have so much association of something, if you have a bad friend whom you are associating with so much, if you have a friend who smokes, who drinks, and you are associating with him all the time, then automatically that bad quality is going to come into you. No matter, it may take a year, it may take a month, it may take a day, but that quality is going to come into you. So Krishna is saying, keep all the abominable activities away from you by getting attached to me. And in that consciousness, surrender unto the Lord. A man engaged in devotional service rid himself of good and bad reactions even in this life. Therefore, strive for yoga, which is the art of all work. See, as I explained earlier, there are two kinds of karma: good karma, bad karma. Now, both these good and bad karma are bad for us. But we have to, there is a kind of karma, it's called sanchit karma. Sanchit karma, it means that it's just like, you can say, how many of you like M&Ms? Raise your hands. M&Ms, good. So if I give you a bag of M&M, all the M&Ms that are there in the bag, consider it as sanchit karma, or all the good and bad activities that you have done in all the lives that you have got. That is all that karma is there in that M&M bag as M&Ms. Let's say there's a red M&M and there's a black M&M. Black M&M. I don't know if there's a black M&M. The red M&M. Okay, and we're saying there's no black M&M. Okay, yellow M&M and red M&M. Red M&M is your good karma. Yellow M&M is your bad karma. Now, all the good karma and bad karma in that M&M bag is called sanchit karma, or all the good and bad things you have done in all your lives. Now, when you get this life as this human form of life in which we are right now, by the arrangement of the God, all those good and bad karmas are picked from those M&M bags and given in your hands. Some of it, for example, you have a whole M&M bag full of M&Ms. I put my hand inside the bag of M&M, get some M&M out and put it on my hand to eat. So in this life, all the good and bad karma that we have on our hand, on that are going to be imposed on us, is called prarabdha. Or all the good and bad reactions that we are going to face in this life are called prarabdha. Now, thing is, even if you do good activities in this life, you are going to fill that M&M bag more and more. You do something good or bad in this life, that M&M bag is filling, and you have to get new bodies in order to empty that M&M bag. But the problem is that M&M bag is never going to be empty. That M&M bag is always going to be full, because you're adding M&Ms again and again into that bag as good karma and bad karma. But Krishna says, if you go into devotional service, if you do bhakti, how to do bhakti we'll talk later on. But if you come to bhakti, if you come to spirituality, all that M&M bag, all the good and bad karma that is there, that you are going to face in next lives is going to get empty. You are going to be karma free. There is no karma that is going to affect you. And as soon as your karma is over, as soon as your good and bad karma is finished, you are free from the cycle of karmic reactions. Simple. So Krishna is saying, by engaging in devotional service to me, all your good karma and bad karma is finished. Easy peasy. By thus engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the results of work in the material world. In this way, they become free from the cycle of birth and death and attains the state beyond all miseries by going back to Godhead. So as I said, that M&M bag can only be empty if we engage in the devotional service of the Lord. That's what Krishna is saying here. And as soon as you engage in the devotional service, that bag of M&Ms starts getting empty slowly and slowly. And as soon as it is empty, you go back. No more cycle of birth and death. Simple. When your intelligence has passed out a dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard. See, this Bhagavad Gita, I explained you in the first class of introduction that it is the cream of all Vedic knowledge. After getting the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, there is nothing more to know. Every Purana, every scripture of the world, Upanishads, different kinds of Puranas, all four Vedas, all the knowledge is combined together in Bhagavad Gita. And we are on the first chapter, on the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And in the second chapter, you can see till now, so much has been given. So once you get the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and start applying it in your real life, there is nothing that you have to know. For example, once what happened, I went to a temple in Vancouver. And in that temple, there was a Panditji who was giving a lecture. And that Panditji was telling people that no matter what you do, no matter whom you worship, no matter whose devotee you are, it's all just like rivers merging into a same ocean. He was quoting from different kinds of scriptures, some Vedic scriptures, some Purana, some Upanishads, that what I'm saying is truth, that no matter what you do, you go back home, back to Godhead. No matter you worship Durga ji, no matter worship Shiv ji, no matter you can worship Ganesh ji, they all are the same, you're going back. Well, I was there. And when I heard it, I was amazed that he's a Pandit who is so much intelligent in scriptures. And this is what he's saying. So I put my hand up and I asked him and I challenged him that what you are saying is wrong. And there were like 100 people over there at that time in a temple. And they were all looking at me that he is an old Panditji who's so intelligent and, you know, all bald and full sannyasi kind of thing. And I quoted 2-3 verses from Bhagavad Gita. In the next chapters, those verses will come. Yanti Devrata Devan Pitra Yanti Pitra Vrata. That Krishna says, it's not like you worship anyone, you go back to home. He says, the demigod you worship, you go to his specific planet. You go to his specific loka. And after that, you again come back to this world on the earth. So Krishna says in the next chapters that it's not like you worship anyone and you go back home, back to God. Well, for a specific time of period, the Devi Devata that you worship, you will go to the lok of that Devi Devata for a specific period of time, and then you will have to again come back to birth in 84 lakh on earth and take birth in 84 lakh different species of life. So I had a whole fight with that Panditji. And when I quoted, he was like, what should I say? And then you know what he said? In front of everyone, he said that we will talk later, I don't have time. And after that, I went to him after the puja that, okay, you said we'll talk later. Now I'm here, you're giving bad information to people, you are misdirecting the general people and you're giving bad information. Now I'm here, talk with me. And again, He just ran. He just ran. He was not having what to say, because I had proofs that what he was saying was wrong. So similarly, all those proofs are coming from Bhagavad Gita. If you read different kinds of scriptures, you're going to get information, like some information here, some information there. And as we humans in Kali Yuga are not so intelligent, we will always get the wrong meaning out of it. So in Bhagavad Gita, everything is there. And that's what Krishna is saying. When your intelligence has passed out a dense forest of delusion, when you know this knowledge, you will be indifferent and you will have nothing to know more. When your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of Vedas, and when it remains fixed in the trance of devotion or trance of self-realization, you will attain the divine consciousness. As we talked earlier, that if you're so much attached to fruitive activities, to Karam Kanda, then there is no way that you're going to get devotional service or love of Godhead. Now Arjuna said, "O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak? What is his language? How does he sit? And how does he walk?" Well, Arjuna is asking now that, okay, I understand what you are saying, the knowledge you're giving me, but now tell me, how do I realize that this person is self-realized? How do I realize that this person is knowledge? How does he speak? What language he speaks? How does he sit and how does he walk? What are the activities he do basically? How do you identify a normal person and a person who is in knowledge? You see, here in normal world, if a person is very well dressed, he's wearing a coat pant, very good clothes, having a good hairstyle, we think he's very intelligent, he's very good looking. But as soon as he starts speaking, then we know what that person is. We judge a person the way he speaks. We judge a person how he talks to others, right? So that's what Arjuna is asking. That how do I judge that this person is knowledgeable? This person has knowledge of the self. How do I know that? Now Krishna is, any questions till now? Because now the topic is changing again. Krishna is going to tell what is the symptoms of a self-realized person. Or you can say a good devotee or a good sannyasi or a good pandit who knows everything. Any questions till now? Okay. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arises from mental concoctions, and when his mind thus purified finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness." Now, what is the meaning of mental concoctions? Or in Hindi, it can be said as manorath, that he's always listening to his mind. And isn't it that true case for every one of us? We're always listening to our mind. Well, if our mind says that I want to have a chocolate ice cream today, then we are like, okay, let's have a chocolate ice cream. If our mind says that, okay, today I want to eat Lay's, Cheetos, I want to go here, I want to party, I want to watch this television, I want to watch this TV show, I want to watch this movie, don't we all follow our mind? Well, Krishna is saying the person who is knowledgeable, he does not follow his mind. He knows that this mind is the cause of his bondage. He knows that by following his mind, he's going to be in more trouble, because our mind is always full of desires. Our mind always wants to have different things at the same time. Our mind is our worst enemy, but it can be made a best friend. But to make that mind, who is the worst enemy of us, to make it as our best friend, we need knowledge, we need intelligence. And that intelligence can only come if we are connected to the divine consciousness. When we know what is right, what is wrong. And Krishna will talk about this in the next verses. that to get the higher intelligence, you need to connect to a higher source. When we follow our own mind, we are always going to be happy and sad. We are always going to be in duality. Sometimes we'll be happy, sometimes we'll be sad. Sometimes we'll be so much full of courage, and at the same time, sometimes we'll be so much fearless. Sometimes we will know something is right to do, and sometimes it will be no, I don't know what is right or what is wrong. So Krishna is going to teach now throughout Bhagavad Gita what is right, what is wrong, what to do, what not to do, how to live, how to find peace, how to find satisfaction with self. A person who is self-realized, a person who applies the knowledge in real life, he will always be satisfied. He will have no material hankerings. He will not have so many desires in life that I want this, I want this. He'll be peaceful in himself. And that person who is peaceful in himself, then only he can be totally happy in any condition of life. So if we all want to be happy in life, if we all want to be fearless in life, if we all want to enjoy the life the way it should be enjoyed, then we need divine consciousness. And that divine consciousness can only come through knowledge. Knowledge of the self, knowledge of scriptures, knowledge of what to do and what not to do. And when we get that knowledge, we apply it in our life, we become peaceful, we become happy. No problem of life can touch us then. Even the problems are, if the problems are coming, as I said in the introduction, that all the problems are just like rainfall. They are always, when there is rainfall, what do? You take an umbrella out. When you take the umbrella of divine consciousness out, no problem touches you. You remain dry even in rainfall. So that's why it's very important to understand all these things. One who is not disturbed in the mind, even amidst of the threefold miseries, or elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady mind. See, there are three kinds of problem in our life. Those three kind of problems, what are those? Well, number one, the problems arising from body and mind. Well, the body sometimes can be diseased. There can be some bone damage. There can be some kind of disease. On the mind level, there will be like fearfulness and anxiety, depression. These problems come in everyone's life. So this is the first problem, body and mind. The problems arising from body and mind. The second is called natural calamities, like COVID-19, for example. Virus, coronavirus, isn't it a problem? Well, it is a problem. It's a natural calamity. Well, every time natural calamities are going to be there. If corona wasn't here 100 years ago, but another kind of disease was here. Few hundred years ago, there was some other kind of disease. Well, sometimes there's an earthquake. Sometimes there is hurricane. Sometimes there is something else. Sometimes there is something else. Sometimes the temperature is like 45 degrees in India. Sometimes it's like -40s, -50s in Regina. All these natural calamities are always going to be there. And this is the second reason of problems in life. And the third problems comes from other living entities. Problems given by other living beings. Another person giving a problem to us. Another person who is hatred of us. Another person who wants to give us trouble. So these three problems are always going to be there. Problems arising from body and mind. I'm going to ask you all this next time. Problems arising from body and mind, problem from natural calamities, and problems from other living beings. Now, all these problems are going to be there, but a devotee is never disturbed by this, for he accepts all miseries as the mercy of the Lord, thinking himself only worthy of more trouble due to his past misdeeds. And that it is only by the grace of Krishna that I am happy in life. He gives all the credit to Krishna that, okay, if something good is happening in my life, it's because of the mercy of Krishna. If something bad is happening in my life, that is also a mercy of Krishna. Any situation, good or bad, he's always equipoised. He's equal in all because he knows that it's all his own doings, his own karma that is beating him. So by getting that knowledge, getting surrender to the Lord, getting that sense of dependence on the Lord, he's always happy, never disturbed by happiness or sadness. Don't we all want that? Don't we all want to be equal in life, whether it be happiness or distressed? We always want to be happy, right? Well, Krishna is giving that here is the way to become happy in life. How many have you gone to Vrindavan? Any one of you has gone to Vrindavan? Yeah, India. Have you noticed that whenever you go to such temples in Vrindavan, the devotees there, they're always happy. They're always dancing. Well, sometimes they can be crying in ecstasy because of separation from Krishna, but 90% of time people are always happy. They don't care what is happening throughout the world. All they want is Krishna. And because of that, because of total dependence on Krishna, they are always happy. And same thing when you go to temples where there are pure devotees who are totally surrendered to God, who knows that their goal is Krishna, who knows that their aim of life is Krishna, and everything else is temporary. Those persons are always happy, no matter what comes in their life. In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. Nor is he attached to good things, nor is he attached to bad things. As I said, he always considers everything as the mercy of God and gives credit to God. That kind of person is always happy. One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects as the tortoise draws its limbs within the shell is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. Now, this is very important. Throughout Gita, Krishna is going to stress this point that control your senses, control your emotions, control what to do, what not to do. A devotee knows what to do at what time. He's just like a tortoise. You see, a tortoise, when he's in danger, he puts all his limbs inside his shell. And when he's free, he knows that there is no danger. He takes all his legs, all his limbs outside of the shell and starts walking. Devotee is like a tortoise. When he knows that there is bad association outside, when he's in a bad association, whether at work, whether at home, or whether with friends, anywhere, he withdraws his limbs. He totally draws his attention towards Krishna, towards the holy name of Krishna. But a person, on the other hand, who has no control over his senses, is always going to get affected with bad association. But a devotee has learned to control his senses, to control his emotions, to control his mind. And in that way, he's always happy because he knows what to do and what not to do. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense object remains. But seizing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. Now, in this verse, Krishna gives the formula how to leave bad habits. Well, throughout life, we are going to get some bad habits in life. Krishna is telling that in order to leave bad habits, see, bad habits are just like enjoyment, right? A small enjoyment, like maybe drinking or smoking. The person who drinks, the person who smokes, he's feeling pleasure in it. He's happy doing it. And for happiness, he's doing it again and again. But Krishna says, in order to leave that bad habits, it is important to get a higher taste. As I explained last time, there is chocolate ice cream and strawberry ice cream. If someone is attached to strawberry ice cream, and if someone gives him chocolate ice cream and chocolate ice cream taste is better than strawberry ice cream, then he will now be attached to chocolate ice cream. instead of strawberry ice cream. So it will be easy for him to leave strawberry ice cream and get attached to chocolate ice cream. Similarly, all the taste in this world, taste of enjoyment in the world, is just like a small taste. Yes, the taste is there because obviously you feel happy when you get certain things that you like. But all that happiness is a very low form of happiness. But the real happiness is the happiness of devotional service. And when that happiness comes, the lower taste of happiness of this material world is automatically disappears. So in order to get that higher taste, in order to get that higher taste in our life, we need devotion. And it's very, living in a small city like Regina, it's little difficult to have association of devotees. But if you go to bigger cities like Vancouver, there are so much big temples where there's always kirtan going on. People are dancing always, just like Vrindavan. And it's very easy to get free from the material miseries and get attached to that kind of life. But even in Regina, there is a temple, and I think I told you a few weeks ago that come to the temple. It's open 3 to 6. The temple on 7th Avenue. And from 3 to 6, we have kirtan, we have prasadam. And it's not like normal prasadam. It's prasadam made with love for Krishna. And that prasadam has a special taste. So come to the temple today, 3 to 6, and we'll have kirtan, we'll enjoy, we'll dance. Are you going to come? Well, that's like a no, because there's no answers. That's bad. We should all come to the temple. At least Sunday, we should get some time and go to temple.
I'll ask my dad and mom. I'll ask my mom and dad.
Yeah, because when we get attracted to spiritual life, especially the kirtan of the Mahamantra, you become so much peaceful. So it's good that you come to temple every Sunday and attend kirtan and take the mercy of Krishna in form of prasadam, in form of deity, in form of his devotees. So it's very good that you should go to temple every Sunday. The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. We'll move a little forward because it's already too much time. I want to finish this chapter. One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control and fixes his consciousness upon me is known as a man of steady intelligence. Now here is how to control our mind, how to control our pleasures, how to control our emotions. Here is the formula. Krishna is saying one who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control and fixes his mind, fixes his consciousness upon me is known as a man of steady intelligence. And how do you fix your mind on Krishna? Well, there are 9 ways that Prahlad Maharaj explains. This is what devotional service is. This is what bhakti is. There are 9 ways to have always association of Krishna. Number 1 is listening about him. Listening from Krishna book, listening from Srimad Bhagavatam, listening about Krishna from different places, from the pure devotees. There are so many, you will find so many videos of pure devotees on YouTube. When you listen about Krishna from them, the different pastimes of Krishna, butter stealing pastime, dancing on Kaliya, stealing clothes of gopis, dancing with gopis. And when you listen all those pastimes from their mouth, you become so much attached to Krishna. And that is the number 1 way of getting attachment for Krishna. That is to listening about him. Second comes speaking about him. Hearing, speaking. Speaking in the sense, chanting the holy names, attending kirtan. And that way also you get devotional service. That way also you perform devotional service and get attached to Krishna. And when you start doing all these things, you automatically feel the happiness, the peacefulness in you. And that's how you become happy in life and get attracted to Krishna. And there are so many other processes that we'll go throughout Gita. Hearing and chanting are just 2 of them and the most important. But all those things can only be done in a temple. So it's important to go to temples. One who restrains his senses, fixes his mind on Krishna. While contemplating on the sense objects, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises. Now, write this down. This is seven step process. How you get anger, how you become sad in life. The number one is contemplation of senses. What is the meaning? What is the meaning of contemplation of senses? For example, I'll use that again, chocolate and strawberry ice cream example. If I taste strawberry ice cream once and I like it, and then I keep on thinking about that, oh, how the taste was of the strawberry ice cream was very good. I want to taste it again. That's called contemplating of senses, that using your senses, focusing your senses on a certain object. And this can be used in any aspect of life, anywhere. Number one, contemplating of senses means thinking of strawberry ice cream or tasting it once. Second comes attachment. When you use your senses for a specific sense object, in this case, strawberry ice cream, you use it, you eat strawberry ice cream again and again because you liked it the first time, you develop attachment for a strawberry ice cream. Now, when that attachment is there, and let's say if I don't get strawberry ice cream one day, what will happen? Because of attachment, lust develops for that. So number one, I tasted strawberry ice cream once. Number two, I developed attachment for it. Number three, I developed lust for it because now I'm greedy for it. And now if I don't get strawberry ice cream, what will happen? If I'm so much attached to strawberry ice cream, and let's say if I get it, now if I get that strawberry ice cream again, I will become more greedy. This is how greed develops. And if, let's say, I don't get that strawberry ice cream next time, what will happen? Because of that attachment, anger will arise. So this is why we get angry. When we become so much attached to something, and when that attachment is not fulfilled, that desire is not fulfilled, we become angry. Now, what happens next? When anger is there, because of anger, delusion comes. For example, sometime it may happen that because of tasting or eating strawberry ice cream every day, my stomach may get upset. Well, but thing is, because of attachment, because I have lust for strawberry ice cream, I will only want it. Doesn't matter if my stomach gets upset. Even if my stomach gets upset, after a few days, I'll be like, okay, I don't care, but I want strawberry ice cream and I like it. Because of that anger, my memory is lost. There is delusion that, okay, because of eating strawberry ice cream every day, I got my stomach upset. But because I'm so much attached to that strawberry ice cream, my memory is bewildered. And when memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. Then you're not able to make the right decision that should I eat it or should I not eat it? And this is how we fall down in life. And this can be used anywhere, even for, you can say, money. Well, you become attached to money. If you get more money, you become greedy. If you don't get money, you become angry. And if you become angry, you don't know what is right thing to do. And because of you don't know what is right thing to do, you do wrong things to get money. So Krishna gives a 7-way process of how to get free from falling down to material life. But in the next verses, he will give how to stop it. So from contemplating of senses, attachment arises, then because of attachment, lust arises. From lust comes anger, from anger comes delusion, from delusion comes bewilderment of memory, from bewilderment of memory comes intelligence loss. And when intelligence is lost, you again fall down to material pool. This is the 7 process, 7 or 8. Okay, just 5 or 6 more verses are left, and then the chapter is finished.
I think we should stop now. I think it's becoming a lot.
Okay, that's fine.
We
Just
should
we'll,
recap again.
yes. Any questions till now?
Sudhanshu Bhaiya,
Yes.
what was the sixth step to like thing?
Here it is. Number 1 is contemplation of senses, which means you use your senses to use something even for once. And once you like it, the second step comes, that's attachment. Because you liked it and you're using it again and again, now you have developed attachment for that. That's the second step. And the third step, because of attachment, lust arises. Greed arises. Because of that attachment, that's the third step, lust or greed. Now, because that lust or greed is not fulfilled, anger arises. That's the fourth step. Now, when we are angry, delusion arises. We don't know what is right or what is wrong. So the fifth step is delusion. And when delusion arises, memory is lost. Memory in the sense that, okay, my stomach got upset last time, I should not eat this, but I forget that my stomach was upset because of delusion, memory is gone now. Now, when memory is gone, intelligence is lost. So the seventh step is intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, when we don't know what to do, what not to do, we automatically fall down in the material life. So this is an 8-step process. Contemplation of senses, attachment, lust, anger, delusion, bewilderment of memory, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, we again fall down to material pool. Now, this step can be used anything in the life, for anything, for money, for opulences, for fame, anything. Then how to get rid of it? Well, Krishna will explain the following verses that we will discuss next time. And throughout this week, you can use this flow chart, you can use this table and identify that and you can identify that how you are getting attached to various things in life. For example, various cartoon serials, various music videos, various friends, everything fixes in this table. So Krishna gives a whole analytical study that how you get attached to something and how you can fall down to the material pool because of attachment, basically. All right. Okay. Anyone else? No questions today? How is it possible? Karthik and Vidyut, no questions?
No questions.
Okay, should I ask question then? All right. So are you all chanting every day? Yes or no?
God.
Who forgot? Oh, yes. Well, don't forget it last time. Next time, don't forget it. Every day you should chant, because the purpose of the essence of everything in the world is to chant the holy name of the Lord. Jeevadaya Krishna Nam Sarva Shastra Sar. So no questions for today? Let me ask you a question. How old are you, Puranjaya?
Eternal.
Yes, and how old is this body?
Not 10.
What will happen after this body is no longer able to live?
It'll die, and then the soul will be reborn in another body.
And what kind of body will it be?
Another human body, I think.
Not necessary.
It depends on the karma.
Yes, but because, as Krishna said earlier in the starting of this class, that if you follow spirituality, even one step in this spirituality gets you guarantee that you will get a human form of life. So if you keep on doing what you're doing right now, chanting the names of the Lord, going to temple, listening about him, speaking about him, worshipping him, that gives you at least this much guarantee that you will be born in a human form of life. And for the people who don't do all this, what will happen to them?
No, only God knows who he'll put the soul into.
What kind of body? Well, yes, ultimately God, but even Krishna explained that is also in our own hands, what body we want to go. Whatever we want to become, whether an insect, whether a demigod, whether we want to go to hell or anywhere, Krishna will explain that in the next chapters, that how we choose our own body. Yes, Tia?
Okay, like you take steps into spirituality, right? But like, is it possible to get moksha? Like, how do you know how many births you have to take, like just before getting moksha?
See, there is a difference between moksha and going back to home, Godhead. Moksha means to get free from this cycle of birth and death and merge into God. Moksha is not even moksha, as in one of the class I told you, moksha is of 5 kinds, right? Well, one is that you can become merged into God. Well, that's basically called moksha, but that is not the goal of human life. We don't want to get merged, because by merging into God, we lose our own personal identity. It's just like, you can say, you get a glass of water and you put that glass of water into a river. So basically you merge yourself into the river, into the God. That is not what we want. That is not what real happiness is. Because even after getting moksha, you stay in the Brahma Jyoti for some time, but you again have to come back to this material world. You again take birth. But what the goal of life is to go back home, back to Godhead in a mood of servitorship. For example, Krishna Leela. You see, there are so many friends of Krishna, there are gopis, there is one father of Krishna, mother of Krishna, right? That's called going back to Godhead. That you are there with Krishna, you're enjoying with Krishna in the way you want. Well, if you want to be a gopi, you become a gopi. If you want to be a friend of Krishna, you can become a friend of Krishna. If you want to be like Hanumanji, serving Krishna in a mood of servitorship, you can become that in different leelas of the Lord. So goal of human life is to get free from this cycle of birth and death, get free from this material world, and go to the eternal home of God, that is Vaikuntha, where God himself lives, and enjoy with God in his different pastimes. And that is what real happiness will be. Because God is called Sat Chid Anand, who's made of Anand. Just by seeing him, you get so blissful. So moksha is different, and going back home, back to God is different. And how do you know it? How do you do it? Well, the real answer is if you perform real bhakti in life. Real bhakti means if you surrender yourself completely to Krishna. Completely to Krishna, will Krishna explain throughout Bhagavad Gita. In the last verse, in the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami ma shucha. Abandon all kinds of religion and just surrender into me. I will take care of you, all your good and bad karmas, all your pious and impious activities, and I will get you back to me. Do not fear. One verse before that, Krishna tells what to do in throughout your life. He says, Manmana bhava madbhakto madyaji mam namaskuru mami vashyasi satyam te pratijane priyoshimi. Krishna gives a process what to do in life and how to get back to me. Krishna says, Manmana bhava madbhakto. Andar hi andar, mere bare socho. Think of me always. Become Krishna conscious. Now, right now, we are material conscious. We are Maya conscious. We are always thinking of, this and that, this and that. But Krishna says, instead of thinking this and that, practice to think of me always. And how do you think of Krishna always? Well, when you always listen about Krishna, well, you always chant his name, well, you become totally merged into the consciousness, always thinking about Krishna. So Krishna says, number one, do that. Man mana bhava mad bhakto. Madhyaji. Madhyaji means worship me. Worship, well, go to temple, attend aartis, have the altar have a temple at home, and have a proper schedule that, okay, I'm going to wake up at this time. I'm going to worship according to the, how it should be done. Well, that's the second thing. Madhyaji, Mam Namaskuru means offer your obeisances to me. When you go to temple in outside, or whether you go to temple at your own home, go and bow down before God and thank him. Bowing down means that, okay, you are the bigger personality and I am nothing in front of you. Understanding the position of Krishna with tattva, everything about Krishna, okay, different pastimes of Krishna, who Krishna is, who everyone else is, what is my relationship with Krishna. When you understand all those things perfectly, Krishna says, Janama karma chame divam evam yo veti tatvatah tyaktva dehma punarjanamana iti mameti. So Arjuna, know about my janam, know about my activities that I do when I come to this world with tattva, with detail. And when you know that, well, if you know that, then after leaving this body, you don't take birth, you come to me. That's what Krishna says. Madhyaji mam namaskuru, mam ivashyasi satyam te pratijane priyosam. Krishna says, if you do all these things, then I guarantee you that I will take you back to my home, Golaka Vrindavan, Vaikuntha. So all you have to do throughout your life is, number one, always listen about Krishna, chant Krishna's name every day. Well, at least 16 rounds is the recommended amount. But as you're students, you're small, you can't do that. But at least try to do 1 or 2 rounds, 3 rounds, 4 rounds, as much as possible you can do. And try to listen about Krishna every day. Go to YouTube and listen to lectures of great devotees who are speaking about Krishna from Srimad Bhagavatam. Read Bhagavad Gita, read Srimad Bhagavatam. You don't have to read any scripture in the world, any Purana. Just 3 scriptures are necessary. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. When you read these things, imply this in your life, guaranteedly you go back home, back to Godhead. And then you never return to this material world. And even when living this life, you live a life so much peacefully, so much happily, so much lovable to Krishna. So there is so much else, but this is the main thing, to immerse our consciousness always in Krishna. Whatever we do, we think of Krishna always. Whatever we do, we offer it to Krishna always. As I said, whatever you make at home, make it a sattvic diet, offer it to Krishna first, then eat it as a prasadam. Well, that purifies your consciousness. That's one way to get connected to Krishna. Going to temple, worshipping him, attending kirtans, attending aartis, attending lectures, another way of getting in contact with Krishna. And as I said, listening and chanting about him. So when you do all these things through your life, you become so much attached to Krishna, you get so much love for Krishna that you don't want anything in the world. You just want Krishna. And that is when real happiness comes. That is when you go back home, back to Godhead. Otherwise, what we are doing now, or let's say as 90% of people do bhakti in their life, just, as a matter of formality. If we do that, well, definitely it will help us. As I said, 10%. In the next life, you again start with 10%, but you again take worth. But the thing is, if you do Krishna bhakti and if you're not able to immerse yourself properly in Krishna, then Krishna guarantees that in the next life, I give you birth in a family of a devotee, in the family of Vaishnavas, in the family of Brahmanas. And in that way, you can continue your bhakti. So basically, devote your time to Krishna always. And that way you can go back home, back to Godhead. Okay?
All right. Finish the class now.
All
I'm
right.
sorry.
No worries. Thank you so much, everyone. Any more questions?
Yeah, let's just do the Purnamadaha. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamada